Hello, I am Andrea Gabriel, and I'm a writer and lucky enough to be a coach at the Narrative Project. And I'm beginning a project of interviewing many of the upcoming authors I get a chance to meet. And today we're talking to Carolyn Saletto, who I worked
Mm.
with at the Narrative Project. And Carolyn, welcome.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thanks for agreeing to do this.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited.
Carolyn is working on a new memoir, and I'm wondering
Mhm.
if you could tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about that project.
Okay, sounds great. Well, the memoir is about my life story. I am from Bellingham, Washington, born and raised, and business owner in Whatcom County for 30 years. Retired in June of 2022. And I always had this concept of this book in my mind that I had to write because I have three siblings, myself and three siblings, and we've had this crazy life. But what I kept questioning is like, how did we turn out to be semi together human beings? Meaning, being able to have healthy relationships. We raised some beautiful children. So I wanted to explore this in the writing of this memoir. So basically, um, I am almost done with my first draft, with the rough draft. I've been working on it for 16 months, and I'm been thinking about the whole pitch idea. So I was thinking of the children from the Von Trapp children meet Mommy Dearest as kind of as to put together some sort of quick concept that somebody can understand right
That,
away.
and that's
So
actually a brilliant thing. So
you're
from,
like,
from what I do know of your project, I was going to say there's a lot more there than just some siblings who managed to make it through. There's what they made it through. And I'm
yes,
wondering
what we
if
made
you're going to talk
together.
a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
that, what you did experience as children, that is what you're bringing through into this narrative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's where I am now. I'm just
Could you tell us
almost finished.
a little bit about that? That's what I was curious about was
Sure.
the
The
story.
writing process or the story
The
itself?
story, what the children did survive
Mm.
in this memoir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's four of us. We have the one parent in the house who was consistently there was our mom, and she was bipolar. She passed away in 1997. So the story is about this woman who has four children, and how pregnancy really brought on her demise, which was her bipolar. And with each one of us, it just kind of got worse and worse. Unfortunately, for my older siblings, there was a lot of physical abuse. For my younger sibling and I, it was basically just neglect. I mean, it was like being raised without a parent at all. So I start in the book, my youngest or my earliest memories, and then some of the stories, of course, are difficult, but some of them are also, the book is peppered with some lighter memories, like for
I'm
instance,
remembering a story about a horse in the garage.
the horse in the garage. But preceding the horse in the garage was, my younger sister. I love the story where she decided to capture all of the animals in the neighborhood and put them underneath our house, because we had like this space that had a nice lattice um, door that you could open and close. And my younger sister, whose name's Patty, took it upon herself to be the neighborhood dog catcher.
Mhm.
And she was going to take all these animals. So she did. She succeeded in doing that. And in the story, I'm up in a tree and I notice what she's doing. I come down and she's like, I've just decided that all of these, I'm the dog catcher and people have to pay me $5 a dog to get their dog back. And this is what really did happen. But the neighbor lady, who was herself was missing her dog, came over and found her dog underneath our house, and opened up the door, and all the little dogs went running down the hill. And I said, well, Patty, there goes all your profits down the hill. But so there's light memories, but then there's some really heavy memories about, what it's like to be a child in a family where that one parent who's supposed to be your rock and your safe place, your safe home, is mentally ill. And how, so there's some very terrifying memories too.
Oh, absolutely.
But writing it has been very cathartic.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did appreciate when the bits that I've gotten to read,
Mhm,
um, I did appreciate how through all of these circumstances, the children absolutely pull themselves through with kindness
mhm,
and humor towards each other and towards the
mhm.
circumstances, which is really unusual. So I think the Von Trapp family meets Mommy Dearest is actually a perfect
Does
analogy.
that work, AG? Oh, good. I'm so,
It works really
because I
well.
just, I mean, I know I had the mommy dearest parts. Like I got that, but it's like, what about 4 kids? And people keep saying Brady Bunch. Well, Brady Bunch is, it's his and her kids who come together. And even though my older sibling, my older sister and my older brother have a dad, and, he leaves the scene, and then we have a dad, we never grew up ever thinking that's my stepbrother or that's my half brother or whatever happened. It was my brother. Your brothers and your siblings are who you grow up with. That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to. Whether they're adopted kids or whatever the situation, it's who you grew up with. And the four of us going through all of these episodes together and coming out of it, full of love for each other, full of love for life, and being able to stop that that madness. I hate to use the word madness because that's very negative, but stopping all of this with our children. We've raised some really beautiful children.
It's a wonderful story in that
Yeah,
respect.
I think it'll end up in it'll be a nice story in the end.
So I heard you say that you'd been wanting to write this story for some time. Was it
Forever.
what point did you decide this is it, now the time I'm going to jump in?
Well, I knew it was time because I was retired. I have met a lot of writers, and my hat's off to writers who work full time and write. I don't know. I'm just not. I can't keep that many balls up in the air at one time. So I knew it would be a good thing also to do as a retired person because running a business like I did was very time consuming, and this has been a real. It's just been to make that transition into retirement so nicely. But it's been the joke with all of us. Oh my gosh, forever. Hey, someday you got to write a book. Our life, someday when we sit back, when we get together and reminisce, if that's the right word, of some of the things that we went through, we always said, oh, someone's got to write a book. And my younger sister, Patty, started, and she's actually quite eloquent as a writer, but AJ, writing is hard. It takes tenacity. You've got to sit down with your butt in the chair every day. You got to look at that. And the other challenging thing, especially if it's memoir, is then you got to excavate those feelings that maybe you don't want to think
Uh,
about.
That's why I don't write memoir. I'm all about the fiction, but I sure admire those of you who dive in.
And with my personality type, I'm out of the four of us. It would definitely be me. I just have that drive to do it.
Get it done. Yeah, I mean, you're
Yeah,
an entrepreneur, you're a business
yeah,
owner.
yeah.
What hasn't existed exists. So it's just
Exists.
yeah,
And it's been funny as I write this, and you're writing characters, right? But these characters are you. Well, you or your brother or sister. And my character is just like this little, like determined kid. Some of the things I did, and I'm like, oh, well, that's me. It's been funny to look at this. Like, there's one scene where we're up at Mount Baker. My mom was a tremendous and terrific skier. She was actually very athletic as a person. And we're up at Mount Baker, and she left my younger sister and I in the lodge while she wanted to go get a few runs in.
Mhm.
Rick and Nancy were with us, but they were older, so they were with their friends skiing and everything. And so I'm writing this, and I remember this. And we were there for a little bit in the lodge, and then I'm like, Patty, let's go find mom. Let's go. I think I'm like 5, and Patty Joe would be 4. And I take my little sister's hand, and we put on our boots, and we start down the hill, and we're walking towards, I think it was Shuckson, or I forget the name of which chairlift, but there's 2 little kids just, we're gonna find our mom. She did find us eventually. She wasn't happy with the fact that we were supposed to stay in the lodge, but
I'm sure. And can you
I did.
imagine now a 5-year-old and
Oh,
a 4-year-old being left behind in the lodge? I mean,
oh yeah, you'd have a
never
lot.
happen. It would never
Mm-mm.
happen.
No, this was the late 60s. You could do it in the 60s. You can't do it nowadays.
So I met you through the course of working through the narrative project. I'm
Yes.
curious what your experience was there. you want to talk
Oh
a
my
little bit
gosh.
about that
Yes.
process and how it worked and,
So great. Love it so much. Okay. So I sit down in 2022. I'm going to write a book. Sit down. And I realize quickly, shoot, I don't know how to write a book. And so I looked up at Village Books and I noticed that they had a series of classes. And I can't remember, what's the acronym for, there's NOMO Rome.
Oh,
What?
NaNoWriMo, National
Yeah.
Novel Writing Month.
Yeah, well, this was National Memoir Month or something like that. So anyway, start taking these classes, and Kapakian was there. She presented,
Mhm.
and then Cami Osman, and I'm listening to her. And first off, she's a family therapist, and I'm thinking, wow, she could really help because I could really use that point of view. And just realized I talked to my husband about it, and that series of getting in with other writers, having that support, but also learning, how do you create a scene? How do you do dialogue, pace in your book? Everything that goes with, and the critique part, having writing a critique group was just invaluable. Having a writing coach, so amazing. That support. I don't know how people do it without it. And actually, I have met people who have written without it. And I think they feel that you keep hearing the word writing is a very solo, very isolating job or venture. And having that program it was just so wonderful. And I tell everybody about it. And I think I'm so much further ahead of the curve because I've had that. And I've had feedback from you as my writing coach and these other emerging writers, which I love that term. I hope I'm not emerging forever, but and just having that that time to spend together and camaraderie. And also especially when you're writing memoir, it can get deep. And I'm a woman who I do not like to cry. I pride myself on I never cry. And every time we go to one of these darn retreats, who's the one crying? It's me. So it digs deep, but you know that you're in a safe place because you're exposing yourself.
Oh, yes. Writing is so exposing. I mean,
Yeah.
really. Oh,
Yeah. It's you.
even fiction, you think you're just writing along something you've made up, but you're exposing so much of yourself and what you say.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm curious where you are in the process with this memoir now. You've completed your entire first draft. Is that correct?
Almost. I'm at 62,000 words. I'm in
Mhm.
high school. It's going to wrap up senior year in high school. So I'm getting close.
Okay.
I probably have another 20,000 words, I would imagine.
Mhm.
Then I'm going to take a week off and step back and just let it kind of percolate. We also we have our beta readers. And so Vince, Max or Marks, he has my piece. I have his. And I also have my husband.
That's when you swap manuscripts with
We
writers on a
swapped. Yeah.
program.
Even though we weren't complete, we swapped. So we get our manuscripts back February 15th, and then we come together February 20th and kind of go over it. I also have my husband as an IR, an intended reader. I got that from Stephen King. I'm not going to lie. Only because he reads so much, and he literally has been through this journey with me. I've been doing this for quite some time now, so he understands. I talk writing lingo to him all the time. So that's where I'm at. So just excited to get down that just finish that first draft.
Excellent. And then what's the next step after that?
Well, I would like to go to a writing conference and pitch.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
try to get to the agent. Yeah. And then while that whole process, if I'm in the submission period of this book, then I want to start on my fiction writing, which I'm very excited to write.
I am sure. Yeah.
I feel like the fence that I'm kind of fenced in with this memoir. And, it's all, I got to make sure it's all factual and it's me. And fiction is going to be like, I can just let my imagination go. I'm really looking forward to that.
Right. If that character is not fitting into your narrative arc, you just change them, right?
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to kick it. It's out the door.
I'm curious, do you have a working title for this?
Yes, I do. It's 4 = 1.
Okay.
A 4 = 1, a story of love, forgiveness, with a living with a bipolar parent or something along those lines. I
Something.
am not crazy about this title. The other one I'm kicking around is One Hazel Green Eye,
And
a
yes,
story of love, forgiveness, and growing up with a bipolar parent.
yeah, I can understand having seen that scene in your.
Yes.
Yes, why that's a powerful idea for a title.
Yeah, that one that still haunts you sometimes, you said.
Well, I'm curious for those people who want to, look you up on Instagram or follow you. Now, I'll post any of these links down below, but what's the best?
Okay.
Do you have a website? Is it Instagram?
It's Instagram, and it is, I should have it in memory. It's C, hold on, I'm so sorry, because I don't want to give it to you at the wrong place, because that would not be very much fun. It is, and I'm new to this. Okay.
That's all right. I don't actually know my Instagram handle.
Well, it's like, okay, it is what I thought. C Saletto _writes, and that's with an S. So C Saletto _writes.
And that's a good way to get. So, and if you want to
Yes.
keep track of Carolyn and see where the project goes and be the first to sign up for the book signing at Village Books, and you'll want to follow that account. So, Carolyn, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with your future readers?
Well, I hope that this will be a story of hope, because mental illness obviously it's everywhere. And there's not too many families that haven't been touched by mental illness in one way or another. And I want this book to be a book of hope. And we didn't touch on this, but also I'm a foster child. We were pulled out of the family home, and all these things that feel like just knock you down. That your past doesn't have to define your future. So I hope that's what people take away from this book.
I'm sure if once they read that, knowing you, that's the only conclusion they can draw. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And
Okay.
I'll put all
Thanks,
the
AG.
up on the blog post so people can see them. And I'll see you soon, Carolyn.
Thank you, AG. And you are the best writing coach, but you know that already.